Hello, everyone, and welcome to this official match between Team Fallen and Delta Force. It's going to be our last match of the CTF League Season 1 for both of these teams. We do have one more match tomorrow, of course, between TB and Rux. But for today, we've got a matchup that actually will matter for the final seeding for these teams. Obviously, this is going to be Team Fallen's last chance to stave off elimination and make it into the playoffs. Very much an uphill battle for them since Delta Force are coming into this match as the much stronger team. Delta Force, of course, have the opportunity here as well to move up to the 4th seed in the standings, passing Annihilation after their loss earlier today to Team Citrix. Delta Force, in order to do that, have to win 2 maps in a victory today. Obviously, they cannot lose, and additionally, 2 maps would put them clear ahead in the tiebreakers of Annihilation. We are starting, though, so not too much time to talk about the stakes here. I do also want to note that this match is 11v11, which has the standard 12v12 rules in case there's any confusion. We're starting off with a slightly off-standard Delta Force offense, SimCB playing Elf here, Lou on Medic, being attacked by waddling around on the outside, and Link is playing Chemist here for the offense. Sim gets an immediate early steal with Forlib here on Pyro. Also note, Pig3 has roamed up into the attack here to try and help the rest of her offense, taking out all 3 players on Link, but there is a fair amount of Team Fallen returning here to try and knock Link down. He is being hit towards spawn and doesn't have all that much support here. He's being hit away from Lou, but is still alive, allowing Chemist allowing some durability there. Worth noting, though, that there is a backup steal in the flag room. It's just Forleb and Sploy standing in the way of SimCB, who's trying to get out the exit here. Now Glaze has managed to catch up. There is support from Gengar Sleep, who's subbing in here for the offense as well. SimCB being hit around, waddling around, getting some damage off as well, but the medic is there. He will have to be protected there. Actually, some very nice kills coming through from waddling around. That's going to take out SimCB, who had dropped to 0 stakes before that fight. So very nicely done there from the bulk defense for Team Fallen. Already Delta Force threatening with a minute and a half off the clock.
Yes, that's interesting to see. They had multiple steals right in that 1 minute. I'm not sure if we saw any steals from Team Fallen yet. Their Delta Force defense has been doing quite the work.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an unusual roster here. No the Spartan 33 here for DF's offense, but we have seen them change it up against lower seeded teams before in the past. Another nice steal here from SimCB going down middle. He's taken a decent amount of damage, but it has all been healed off. He has 5 stake. He's got ninja support now from Obi as well. Glaze is going to try to hit SimCB, drop him perhaps, but the medic is right there to heal off all of that damage. Wintergreen 3 playing defensive medic now for Delta Force, and this is likely going to be their first capture of the game. With 2 minutes and a half off the clock, it's now on Team Fallen to equalize and bring things back here.
Yep, and we do see multiple Team Fallen soldiers inside the flag room right now. They're going for a steal against Code Bastion, and Xmas does have the flag. Oh, but it does go down to Pig3 assassinate.
Yeah, nice assassinate there from Pig3 to prevent things from getting too out of hand. That was, I believe, the first notable steal from Team Fallen this game, as Sim has another backup or follow-up steal here using the distraction to get out, being chased dutifully by Glaze, who actually is able to catch up and kill the elf just before Lou gets there on Medic, saving what would have been another capture. Forleb had fallen to 1.5 hearts on the chase, so he is just now healed up by Sploy 1 in the flag room.
And then we do also have Pig3 in Team Fallen's flag room right now, trying to get the assassination, but she does go down to Glaze.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see Pig3 being involved in the roam this much. This is something that Delta Force likes to do. They do like to push their players up now that they were punished for a lack of roaming earlier on in the tournament. But Pig3 in particular has had some effects so far, and has been interesting to see. That time around didn't get as much luck, unfortunately. We do have a number of Delta Force players making it into Team Fallen's flag room now.
It's also, I don't think we said this before, but we do have V-Swan playing Archer on top mid.
Ah, interesting. Definitely an unusual pick on Airlock. Speaking of unusual, we do have Gengar Sleep out of the flag room on Soldier with support from Lou. He's made it around the corner now. Forlab trying to chase, but getting up the wall there should make him pretty safe. He did briefly fall to 3 hearts, but has plenty of stake to heal that off. Gengar is now going to be stalled by Xmas, who has a steal going out the other side, has made it through into the dome, but most of the Team Fallen support is no longer alive, medic included. X's is trying to stall here for the medic, but does go down, and that's going to lead to a second capture from Gengar Sleep. We're only 4.5 minutes left into the game, and already Team Fallen is on the ropes, at least as far as this map is concerned.
Yep, something noticeable with that previous capture. Vexicle was there in the flag room ready to assassinate Gengar as he came in, but he did get noticed by Link, who told Gengar to block and chat quite a few times.
Yeah, always interesting to see the communication in chat from several of the Delta Force members. Mike's perhaps not the offense's strongest suit, but they managed to coordinate quite well regardless. Vexicle getting multiple kills there, but now Pick 3 killing off the rest of the defense and has made it into the flag room with 32 hearts on her health indicators here. Is fighting Vexicle and actually just kills with regular damage there. Does take out the defensive medic as well, and that's going to allow Gengar Sleep to get a steal here. He has support from SimCB as well. Water Element was briefly put down there to provide regen and res for Gengar, which will last for a few seconds even after he passes that patch. Good little play there from SimCB, although the difference is probably going to be negligible, as Gengar already has his medic and a fair amount of support crossing the map. There's a pretty big chase here from the Team Fallen defense, but it looks like they're not really going to be there in time, so it's going to be on X's to stall with the steal as much as he possibly can. A lot of Delta Force recovery on X's here. X's has managed to dodge the frenzy and get out ahead, but does go down to OB, and that's going to be the third capture there for Delta Force. A dominant 3-0 win, probably as expected here on Airlock, and Delta Force do look like they have the momentum going into our second map.
No, absolutely. They definitely have the momentum. Let's just hoping we don't see the typical little lack of momentum we see when they win one map and go into the second, which I don't think would happen this time.
Yeah, so we are going to have our 3 minutes here. Pig 3 notably has been a bit of a standout here, just because they have been roaming, but also it is good to see a lot of these lesser used Delta Force players get some time on offense and show their stuff. We did see some fairly good plays all around from SimCB and Gengar Sleep. Link as well, getting to play a class that he usually isn't on offense. So we'll see if there are any changes in the roster here. But Team Fallen as well had some standouts. Vexicle, I think, again, is having a fairly solid game, even if he was probably outperformed by Pig 3 in the greater scheme of things.
Definitely. We do see Pig 3 having more kills stats wise, but I think they both had pretty good placement and pretty good game sense in the overall general scene.
Yeah, no, I do want to highlight this, by the way. Pig 3 has 31 kills, or had 31 kills on that first map. The next closest player was was B-Swan with 14. So in
Hmm.
a total of 367 seconds, barely over 5 minutes. Um, wait, sorry, gears turning in my head are a little slow. Yes, barely over 5 minutes, 6 minutes, in fact. Um, Pig 3 managed to pick up 31 kills.
Oh, that's actually quite impressive. 5 minutes for 31 kills is pretty nice, especially on a map like Airlock.
Yeah, definitely, and it was just because Pig 3 really was able to jump into the game on offense and catch
Hmm.
Team Fallen off guard. We saw multiple plays where she managed to just completely wipe out the Team Fallen defense, catching them by surprise.
Hmm. Absolutely. She played a big part, especially on just helping the carrier. Like they would have multiple people on the flag carrier, Pig 3 would swoop and kill them all and provide a clean sweep right for the carrier to walk out.
Yeah, now in terms of damage as well, which people like to have highlighted, I do want to point out that while Coasting was our damage leader throughout the game, and Obi came in a not too distant second, Glaze was also up there in the numbers. So definitely having a decent game there on Ninja, even if overall the results are not looking so great for Team Fallen.
Yep, definitely. And another thing to note with Glaze, he was doing quite a nice job with just roaming as Ninja, getting caught up with flag carriers and pushing them back, trying to stall the caps. He was doing a pretty good job for Team Fallen side.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if any of those trends continue. Obviously, will be a bit of a better map here for Archer on Lowrise, so maybe we'll get to see GXP unleashed on that role. Hard to say though, as very little has been determined yet. We do have an immediate play for a Ninja Steel from coasting and has been spotted out by Glaze and caught very nicely by Forleb. So the BM Ninja Steel at the start of the game taken care of quite nicely by Team Fallen. And already the defense is putting a fair amount of damage into DF's offense. Waddling around and Sploy are now both focusing Lou, and with some additional help from Chalk, they are able to take out the medic. There is going to be a steal from SimCB, but Team Fallen definitely making things a little competitive here at least. Sim is out on the roof, trying to wind out towards the middle of the map. Lou has already made it back across a good part of the way, is now being hounded by Chalk, but that has left SimCB mostly unguarded. Vexicle has to win the 1v1 and doesn't quite manage to. Now Glaze is chasing Sim. He's dropped to 4.5 hearts, but he is right by spawn. The medic's going to be right there. Chalk has to kill very quickly, but isn't going to be able to do so. And as a result, despite the missed win there, first time around, SimCB is going to be able to pick up the first capture about a minute into the game.
Yeah, that was really nice from Delta Force's side. They were able to get in, coordinated, and get out quite quickly. It was interesting to see MCB was actually doing quite a good job deflecting GXP's shots, as GXP wasn't contested during the steal. And it's also noticeable to see that Wintergreen is actually playing medic defense while B-Swan is playing Archer. And I think B-Swan and GXP is a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, no. Also note, Esso here on bulk defense. Happy was actually able to cross up the entirety of Delta Force's defense, and now has just been left behind the flag here. So perhaps Code Bastion is aware, but the rest of Delta Force seem focused on other players. Looks like Obi has now spotted out the fact that something fishy is going on, but is going to miss Happy there, as they're going to make it into the flag room completely undetected and get the steal. Knocked forward, Pig 3's in the way, but they actually wall climb up, wisely avoiding the worst of it there. There is going to be support up top from Exos, but they also have to make it past SO and Pig 3, who comes in behind from the assassinate. Still a very nice solo play there from Happy. First, I don't know if it was on stream, but throwing the brakes and sending Pig 3 off the map, and then getting that steal completely undetected, getting past Obi.
I'm not quite sure how we got past Obi, but that was pretty nice. And good job with Esso on that placement. He saw his name tag going up the stairs and was there to block him off from the door.
Yeah, no, roles have definitely been changed around here, but one thing that is constant, B-Swan is on the Archer. Now, putting shots in towards Frosty EXE, who's having a very hard time here with Esso and Obi, although Obi does go down. Cupcake has a steal on the other side playing Soldier. She was not in the previous map, is my recollection. And she's making it out top, although she is being stalled right now by Sploy1. Wall climbs there and manages to get past the Soldier there from Team Fallen. Forleb is up on the high ground, trying to make things challenging here, and actually does get a very nice frenzy kill, but there is an immediate backup steal, as SimCB is able to just walk out main. Being chased now by Vexicle, as well as by Chalk, but both players are on the back foot a little bit chasing this, and B-Swan has actually roamed up to start headshotting the recovery. Very nice shot from GXP is going to leave the flag down to Pig 3, who's already accomplished so much this game, and if she can survive the damage from Glaze there with some help, as it was, she's going to be able to get an assassin cap. Even if it wasn't an assassin steal, good job there from Pig 3. She's already had a very big impact in this game so far, and getting the assassin cap is a really nice addition to that to boot.
Definitely seeing a future possible game MVP right there, having a lot of influence over it.
But speaking of strong players there, SimCB is in line for another backup steal after watering the flag to allow Cupcake to get the initial one. Good job there from Chalk to stall, and Vexicle picks up the assassinate on the elf. handling that situation
Mhm.
quite nicely, and Team Fallen are living on to fight at least for another couple minutes here, one would
Yeah,
think.
something else to notice, I do believe Gengar Sleep's trying to get a Ninja Steal on Forlib right now at Team Fallen's flag room.
Yeah, looks like he's going to go for it. Forlib not right on the flag and checking other areas, not even able to get
Oh,
the pyro shot down, so Gengar is going to be able to get out towards mid. Forlib standing as far away from the flag as he was, not working in their favor. Gengar makes it up to the flag and is
ooh.
able to get that ninja capture. Very nice spot there from Quarterpan, our good friend, to catch that play, and a very nice and decisive win from Delta Force. That's going to leave them in fourth place overall in the standings, passing Annihilation after their loss today, and perhaps putting them in. Well, it's not really going to matter too much because they're going to play Annihilation either way, whether they're fourth or fifth, but giving them slight bragging rights. Slight bragging rights at the very least, if you'll pardon my slips.
All right. So, do we want to try to get an interview with someone from Delta Force?
Yeah, definitely. Let's see who's around on the Delta Force side of things. I think with all the roster swaps they've made,
Ah, yes.
there are plenty of potential candidates.
All right, we do have Esofron volunteering to take the interview.
All right, well, we'll have Esso here pretty briefly then. In terms of the numbers that game, nothing nearly as ghastly from Pig 3. Only a
Hmm.
5-4 stat line there. On the other hand, though, in terms of standouts, I do want to point out that Obi went 10 and 10 with one of the higher damage numbers in the game, Code Bastion actually getting the highest damage totals. So the Delta Force Ninjas on defense definitely putting in a fair amount of work that time around.
Absolutely. And then I do think we have Esso in the call right now.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Esso, welcome and congratulations on the win today. Congrats on moving up to the fourth seed in the overall standings.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, definitely a game where you guys were favored today. With that said, I was curious what you guys were doing in terms of the roster. Was this giving players who are normally not on offense quite as much some playtime? Was there a particular strategy to what DF was doing?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to work in some players that hadn't gotten as much play time, but I mean, we were still trying to run a pretty strong roster. Like we had players in all the right roles and everything, except for me. I was on bulk defense, but that was just because Zarpin had to cancel last minute. But yeah, besides that, we were just trying to run a clean game on our part. So yeah,
Yeah, and definitely performed admirably there on bulk defense. So, congratulations on that again.
thank you.
So that is going to be your last game before we have the playoffs, and obviously, you guys have what is still a pretty tough road through the bracket. You're playing Annihilation, who have been fairly competitive throughout the season, um, at least in the first game, and then if you manage to win that, you'll likely be playing the first seeded. Assuming they manage to handle their game against Rocks reasonably well tomorrow, the likely first seed TB, if not the other potential first seed Olympus. So you've got some interesting opponents ahead. How are you guys planning to use your time during the break? Maybe to prepare for those matches, or is it going to be more of a good moment to step away from CTF?
I mean, first off, I think a couple of us are just going to want to take a step back, maybe for the first part of the break, and then we're going to get back together, start practicing, maybe do some team versus PPMs just so that we can get it all back together. Because it has been kind of nonstop CTF for like 9 weeks now, which is kind of a long time.
Yeah, definitely a grueling schedule for a lot of teams. I think it's been a while since CTF teams have played this many games in this short of a span. I do want to ask about the game on Airlock as well, though. You guys had Pig 3 roaming up a fair amount on offense, and we noticed it in the broadcast. Is that something that you would say was a planned strategy, or just Pig 3 improvising?
That's just Pig 3 going for the kill count, I guess. I mean, she's a mute, so she was just kind of improvising, I guess. And we were holding up pretty well on defense, so I figured that she thought she could just go up and help out on offense.
Yeah, well, it definitely seemed like it sped things up for your offense a bit. Before we wrap here, I did want to ask about your opponents today. Team Fallen have had a pretty tough season so far, and they are a relatively new team. But I asked this question to most of my interviewees, and I think you're a fine candidate for it as well. Who did you feel stood out for that roster, and was there anything they did today that surprised you?
I think that XXXX and Mimi's Berry both are two highlights on their offense. I think their offense is actually really underrated and just they have talent and they have the ability to become a really good offense together and like gel super well, but I just don't think they have that experience yet. Like both of XX and Mimi's Berry and Happy are all newer players, and I feel like if they keep at the game and keep trying, and then maybe try joining teams with more of a gelled offense, they could become really good players. So yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely an exciting future regardless for Team Fallen. The roster lock won't apply to them anymore after this game, I should clarify. But with that in mind, they still won't be able to join any rosters, at least as of rules for the time being, for the other teams in playoffs for the tournament. So will be a little while before we likely see any of these members move to another team so if they do choose to do so. And Team Fallen as well, my understanding is, will be preparing for the future, despite the result today. Thank you again, Esso. Appreciate you coming in for the interview, and congratulations again on your win today. Congratulations to all of Delta Force.
Of course. Thanks so much, man. Thanks for the interview.
All right, so that's going to wrap it for our game today. In case it wasn't super heavily implied by our broadcast, I do think we're going to go with player of the game for Pig 3, especially after that dramatic performance on Airlock Round 1. 31 kills in just over 5 minutes is something that you don't see way too often. So congratulations to her on the reward.
Absolutely. I think an honorable mention is probably going to be SimCB for me. Was doing a pretty good job on offense.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cool plays from SimCB as well. Gengar had his moments, including that ninja capture at the end of the game. And overall, a good job from the various members of Delta Force offense, Pig 3 included.
Uh,
So I think that's going to be a wrap here today. That's also going to be the last game of Team Fallen's season, given their result. They were definitely a new and inexperienced team coming into this tournament, and I do want to thank them for sticking it out through the entire thing and putting up some very valiant performances. Definitely a lot to be proud of if you're Team Fallen, and we hope to see them again in the future. So thanks to them. And with
sorry.
that, oh, by all means, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. No, you can go ahead.
All right. Well, I think we're just going to wrap our broadcast there. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to both of our competitors today. And we hope to see you around tomorrow for the final match of the group stage of this season 1 of the CTF League. It's going to be Rocks against TB. There's still plenty on the line for both of those teams. And Rocks will potentially be looking to upset the current projected first seed of the tournament. So be sure to tune into that. And we hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you.